Hey guys, this is me again, and I just wanted to show you that Ford pickup. That's not it. Actually, I am leaving the grocery store, HEB, a major grocery chain in Central Texas, USA, and they're fixing to build a new store here in this area for me called an HEB Plus store, which is their biggest one. And I've often said, this is a grocery store parking lot we're in. And I've often said that if you can drive through, if you, excuse me, Startups cut, if you were running a driver's education program, training young, new 16-year-old kids to drive, then I would recommend that you bring them to a large grocery store or Walmart parking lot and turn them loose. And if they can get through it without having an accident, then they would get their beginner's or learner's permit. Gasoline in Central Texas right now, where I am, is $1.84.9 per gallon. Why do they always make it .9? Well, they call that Jew pricing, 99.99 cents. But we are in Marble Falls, Texas now, and I'm going to turn right here. This is a brand new street they just built, and the reason they built it is there's a big Bell's department store building here on the right. They've got an old building over there by the HEB grocery store, and they're going to bulldoze it down so HEB can build a new store. Now, I know that this video will go viral because everybody in the whole world wants to know about the HEB grocery store in Central Texas, USA. The reason I went there, I got me some dark chocolate almonds. You got me? And anyway, I'm just killing time here. I'm just killing time. That's a good Mexican food place right there, Janie's. Pretty good stuff. A little expensive, for what you get. But anyway, I just love these dark chocolate almonds. I know they're not good for me, but, well, they're not bad. Dark chocolate's got some benefits to it. But this is kind of a side street in the, well, it's the lower income section. But it goes up here to a place called Meadow Lakes, which is an incorporated little township within the town of Marble Falls, and it's mostly military, retired military. And the reason they live here is because it's only 80 miles to the Air Force base, or the 3 military bases in San Antonio, Texas, where they can go to the commissary and get their medical for nothing. Let's go down 2nd Street here to the right. I've never been down it. In fact, it doesn't even look like you're supposed to go down. It's got a fence. Well, we're going to find out. Let's go see why they had the gate. Anyway, this is the poor side of Marble Falls, Texas. This floods all in here all the time. This creek floods all the time. I guess that's why they have that gate, so they can lock it out. But again, Central Texas, USA, with Rusty today. And, for people that are watching this from other countries, it'd be pretty interesting because you're getting to see, this is really the USA here. New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, San Francisco, Houston, Dallas. Those are just big cities. This is where people live, all right? This is where people live. This is where your good old people, well, they're not all good. Every barrel of apples has a few bad ones. And we got a barrel of apples up here just like everybody else. Okay, starting on dark chocolate almond number 2 pretty soon here. So what's the news today? God, of course I don't really care about politics, but God, I just can't believe how far we've gone in this crap. I mean, let's go see where this goes. Well, this is the end of the town right here, I guess. That's a big old cell phone tower there. I don't know which one it is. Apparently it ain't mine. Or is it? Nope. Okay, folks. I'm going to let this car behind me go because I don't like to be rushed. I am studying this. A lot of businesses in this section. It's only going to be about 30 more years till we reach what is called singularity, maybe less. And singularity, that's when the artificial intelligence, computers, robots, etc., are able to perform better as well as or better than human beings. It's called singularity. That's when they reach that point. I call it the tipping point. And of course, now through genetic engineering and other things, and stem cell research, you can grow your own body's organs outside of the body. In other words, let's say you have a defective heart. They take some stem cells from heart muscles and so forth and grow you a heart that they can put into your body, and there's no rejection. Your body, it's your own body. And they do that with kidneys and livers and so forth too. And it works. And that's why I'm for stem cell research. There's nothing wrong with it. But religion and governments are holding it back a little bit. But where we're going to get, when we get to singularity plus all this genetic stuff, the human will be able to basically live forever, because you can download your brain will be connected to a computer, and you'll have all the world's knowledge accessible to you, just like the internet, all the time. So we may be living right now at the greatest time in the world because there's still human life. And there was a geneticist that I listened to, a lady, and she said that at some point in the next 20 years that humans will be about 30% computer components, in other words, artificial parts that are run by basically your brain, but through chips, computers. And, we're just gradually phasing out the human body is what's happening, and the human mind. And eventually, computers can write code. In other words, codes are, when somebody says they're a coder, that's a computer programmer. And what happens is computers now can take existing code, software, and improve on it, and then rewrite the code accordingly. So the computers are able to program themselves, much like humans. Through repetition, we train ourselves to speak, to recognize images, and all sorts of other things, and we're called human. And then you have to ask, what would be the difference between artificial intelligence that can do the same thing and the human? The answer is, I don't know. Who would know? What does it mean to be human? So you get into all those philosophical questions. But in summary, my point is that right now we live life. We live, we think, we eat, we sleep, we suffer, we have pain, all the things that make us human. In 30 to 50 years, all that'll be completely eradicated. And you'll live as a thing, an entity with replaceable components indefinitely. And, or can. So, and then I asked the question, what's the point of living? Then what does this existence mean? If you could live forever and you knew it, what's the point? Where's the thrill? I think the thrill of life is the cycle, the cycle of life. Born, live, die. I like it. I wouldn't change it. And I understand why people in their 90s are ready to get the hell out of here, because they don't relate anymore. They're not useful. They don't feel useful, mentally or physically. Their children are just waiting for them to die so they can get the inheritance, or or relieve themselves of the burden. So, I can understand why people want to check out. And what was the doctor's name that used to do the assisted suicides? I was for that. I thought it was wonderful. Of course, they stopped that crap because that cuts the doctors and the hospitals out of those last few years of making the big bucks, because that's when the emergency room fees come in, and the heart transplants and the liver transplants and all the high dollar stuff that insurance pays for. And so they eliminated him pretty quick. I think he ended up going to jail. But people signed documents, agreeing to this. He was a doctor, so I think it's great. But there's other ways to handle it if you have to. Other ways. Carbon monoxide is probably the best way out. Don't try it in Prius. You'll linger forever. You can buy carbon dioxide. Be sure you get the right makeup that's lethal. Otherwise, you'll just vomit and pass out. But be that as it may, I don't plan to check out any day soon, because I'm enjoying the shit out of doing this. Aren't y'all enjoying this? Anyway, I'm just cruising down the highway. We just went through a little town called Granite Shoals, which used to be called what? Well, actually the lake out here used to be called Lake Granite Shoals, and when Lyndon Baines Johnson became president in the 1960s after John F. Kennedy was assassinated, when he got out of office, when Lyndon Baines Johnson got out of office, they renamed this lake Lake LBJ in his honor. And from where I'm at in the car right now to where his ranch is, as the crow flies, so to speak, it's probably about 60 miles. He's got a ranch on the Pedernales River. Beautiful place. That isn't how he grew up. He grew up in a little house in downtown Johnson City, which it was a nice house for the time. But somehow, when he married Lady Bird, what a great name, she came from a little political background and wealth, and combined with his gift of gab and connections that he'd made, he moved right on up. Was he involved in the assassination of John Kennedy? Hard to say. Wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't put it past him. He didn't like John Kennedy. He didn't like Robert Kennedy either. And he damn sure didn't like it when John Kennedy appointed Robert Kennedy Attorney General. Having said all that, that's your history lesson for the day. So how long have I rambled on right now? Hell, I don't know. Too damn long again. Who cares? Anyway, this is old Rusty 78609, Central Texas, USA. Sitting here eating my fourth dark chocolate covered almond and drinking some green tea out of my stainless steel Ozark Trail mug that works. Keeps stuff cold. And in Texas, that's important. It also keeps stuff warm for you people up north, which is what you want. So, who's going to be our next president? Based on what I've seen, I'll make a prediction. I've never picked a winner. Okay, so this is like the kiss of death almost. I'm sure. Probably shouldn't say it. Seems like every time I want somebody to win, they lose. But I think I know that there'll be some difficulties in that, but I think that Donald Trump will probably win. Why? Well, because he beat 16 powerful people, particularly the Bushes. Now that's amazing to me. That's kind of like Obama beating Clinton back when he beat her out for the nomination 8 years ago. And, for Donald Trump to pull ahead of the anointed son of the Bushes, Jeb, just amazed me, because Jeb Bush definitely had the money behind him. And then number two was Ted Cruz. A lot of people in Texas were backing Ted Cruz. They did not like, and still don't like, Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has not received many, if any, endorsements from the major Republican families, which he probably won't. But anyway, even without that, I think he'll be nominated. Having said that, I think I'll end this video. And thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, and finally, and most importantly, bye-bye. If I can turn this thing off now without turning my car over, I'll be all right. Bye-bye.